we are just 1% away from reaching 3/4 of game completion for this game. And as I did in the last episode, I have already selected what bike it is I will be using for our next championship. And it's been a few weeks since I last played this game because obviously I've had to get through my coursework, but I feel like I've made enough progress now to actually get back to this now. And also because I do now have a new solid state drive to help me get through this as well. Also an upgrade, I might add, because I have now upgraded to a 1TB solid state drive compared to the 500GB solid state drive I was using before. So I figure let's change the racing gear whilst we're at it. And the other reason I chose to do this as well, because I just figured, why not? So I think the helmet I'm going to switch to, I think I switched over to this one last time. I don't know for sure, but I think that was the one. And anyway, well, I'm switching riding gear again either way because I want to. Yeah, let's go with this one. And as for the gloves, let's go with... yeah, why not? Those will work. And as for the racing overalls, I'll go with these. And as for the boots, I will use... sure, why not? This will work. This probably isn't the kit I changed over to the last time I recorded this, but you know what? I don't care. Let's just get on with championship number... what championship is this now? Let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, championship number 7. Superbike 1000. And these are the eligible bikes. Obviously got the Honda CBR 1000, the Yamaha YZF R1, Suzuki GSX-R 1000, Kawasaki Ninja ZX-10, Ducati 999R, the Aprilia RSV 1000, and the MV Agusta F4 1000. So we are doing 5 laps around each of these tracks. Again, I have not played this game for a few weeks. Do bear with me, I am trying. So we've got Laguna Seca, Sonoma, Twin Ring Motegi, road course, Suzuka, and Valencia to end off this championship. So, let's get going with the Superbike 1000. And what is our competition going to be, I wonder? We shall wait and see. I have a feeling I already know. Yeah, just as I thought. So we've got the Honda CBR 1000, Suzuki GSX-R 1000, and we also have the MV Agusta F4 1000. Don't really need to change anything, so let's just get moving. I might be a little rusty with this, but I am convinced in saying that I will get back into the swing of this fairly quickly, because I do know this championship is not going to be too hard for me to win. And hopefully, if it's possible this time, my 1TB solid state drive will manage to do a better job of capturing segments than what my 500GB Solid State Drive did. Really not surprised to say that I crashed at turn 4. I kind of knew that sort of thing was going to happen early on. And I'm about to do it again. And we are off to a dreadful start, as I have now wrecked in 2 consecutive corners. But again, I'm not surprised because it's been a few weeks since I last played this game, so I do kind of expect myself to be rusty, and I've got a 14-second gap to make up to catch up to the leading Honda. I do also believe that will not be the last of the mistakes I make, but either way, I don't really care because, well, any races I don't win in the championship, I can always come back and do again once we're done anyway. So just trying to make sure I don't pull up on the bike again, as of which I know that's very easy to do because it's almost like you're basically riding a horse, where you're basically just trying your best to stay up on your 2 wheels, almost like a horse that's basically just trying to stay balanced on all 4 legs, or hooves if you will. And I almost lost control of the bike there. But it's okay because I did manage to save it. Probably also doesn't help to say that my hands are a little slippy, but I don't think that's going to be too much of a problem, as I have already made up 5.5 seconds in just 1 lap. I think when I got to that sector on the previous lap, I was 14 seconds behind, and now I'm only 8.5 seconds behind. So as long as I don't make too many mistakes from here, I think I should be okay. Again, I haven't played this game for a few weeks, so you kind of would expect me to be rusty early on, but I am convinced in saying that will change as we go further and further along. Gap is now 7.2 seconds, so I'm slowly chipping away at that interval to the leading Honda, and I am hopeful in saying that my Aprilia will manage to get the job done. Oh yeah, also shout out to Aprilia for being the only non-Ducati rider. Also shout out to Maverick Vinales for being the only non-Ducati rider in the MotoGP to actually win a race this year. Also, something else I should... Oh, okay. Oh shit. Yep, I knew that was gonna happen. I was basically waiting to see how long it was before that Suzuki caused an accident, and... okay, maybe that was partly my fault for heading to the outside, but he was not prepared to give up the position. And as a result, well, we kind of wrecked each other. Even though I technically did have the racing line, I'm going to assume he must have got loose and that was basically what caused both of us to crash. But I'm not having any beef over it. It's just one of those racing deals. I did say I was going to be rusty, and I feel like I'm probably going to keep saying that until I am done with this, but in all honesty, I don't really care, because, well, I just really want to pretty much get this championship out of the way, and then I can focus on all the other championships. So heading through the corkscrew once again for the 4th time. 4.7 seconds is the gap to the Honda. I don't think I'm catching him anymore. I think he's a little bit too far ahead for me to realistically catch him. Of course, I did have my share of mistakes up to this point of the race, which, in all honesty, is not too surprising because of how long it's been since I last played this game. But I am convinced in saying as we go further and further along, I can manage to put together some better runs. So the gap is now 3.3 seconds, well, 3.36 seconds, according to the sector times. So I'm slowly catching up to him, but it doesn't look like I'm going to beat him. I'm a little bit too far back in order to realistically catch him. Even though I am closing in, I don't think I'm quite close enough to mount any serious challenges to the Honda out in front. But, as ever, I will of course try to go for the win. And I am closing in, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be close enough. Okay, going for a run on the outside. I'm a little bit too wide. I don't think I'm going to pass him. Oh, I might be able to pass him. Go, 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 go. Yes! I just beat him by 3.5 tenths. I did not think I was going to win that race. I really didn't. Anyway, 3.5 tenths to the Honda, and 7.3 seconds to the Suzuki in 3rd. And the MV Agusta, well, he's at the very back. But anyway, there we go. One race down that somehow, some way, I was able to win. And now we move on to race number 2. So here we are then for race 2 at Infineon Raceway, also known as Sonoma Raceway. And we shall try and see if we can manage to put together an effort that will be just a little bit better than what we had at Laguna Seca. Because, in all honesty, I kind of got lucky with that one. I mean, yeah, sure. Obviously, my bike was bad fast in the end, but I did still get lucky because, well, I put the hammer down when I needed to, and, well, because rubber banding is not exactly very strong with some of these championship events, it's not really expected for there to realistically be any of those, you know, crazy thriller races in terms of pretty much the delta times per lap. And this race so far is going a lot better because I have not crashed yet. I think on the first lap I was pretty sure I crashed twice, but regardless of how many times that was, I still somehow, some way, came back to win that race. even though it was literally my first race in this game for at least 2, maybe 3 weeks. So I can certainly say that was quite simply an unexpected win, in my opinion, but either way, here I am now, and I am basically just mopping the floor with the AI at the moment. Which, after having a few weeks off, I was not expecting myself to do, but, well, here we are. Made a little bit of contact there with the Honda as we went through the carousel, but able to more or less give him the place back because, well, it is important to show respect from time to time, especially if it's in bike racing. You more or less have to be robust, but you also have to be fair. And under the circumstances, that's more or less what I try to be. And through the chicane, and now heading up to the final hairpin. Of course, it is a bit shorter on the motorcycle course compared to the sports car race course, where the hairpin to end off the lap is basically all the way down where the pit lane entrance more or less is. But I've driven hundreds of laps around, I think, both variants of the circuit before, or technically speaking, all 3 variants of the circuit before, and I gotta say, we seem to be getting along just fine. Oh, okay. I somehow saved it. I went off on the grass, but it's okay because I saved it. And so, we press on with our race. And a little bit of a lift there as I went through the corner. Had to pretty much make sure that I was not going to undershoot the corner, because I know that superbikes do not like riding curbs as much as cars do a lot of the time, but either way, we seem to be doing okay, and that is another wild save that I somehow pulled off. But either way, there we go. I continue my ascension into domination, as I am now 4.3 seconds clear of the Honda CBR. So, I think it's fair to say that I have obviously got no power disadvantages in terms of knowing what competition I'm up against. I don't really have any real advantages. I don't have any real disadvantages, except for maybe just, well, lack of experience since I last played the game, but I'm definitely pulling away from the AI at this point of the race, and I now have a 5-second lead. So it's pretty much needless to say that I'm basically dominating this race and lifting off the throttle so I get a solid entry through to the hairpin, and now we have just one lap to go. And pretty much got this one by the rings, from what I can see. I am very much taming this bull by the horns, and I think it's fair to say that pretty much everything is seeming tame, as I now have an 8-second lead over the Honda behind me. And well, the MV Agusta, he is basically nowhere in sight compared to the rest of us. He's basically just here for the money, more or less. Or, in the very words of Kyle Busch, he's basically just here so he doesn't get fined. He is very much the field filler in this race because of just how far off the pace he is. But either way, this is going to be another easy win for me. And wheelie right at the finish, and because I was too deep on the entry, I went straight into the concrete right at the end, and the gap in the end was 9 seconds, and less than 13 seconds to the Suzuki. So 10 points to me, 6 points to the Honda, 4 points to the Suzuki, and 3 points again to the MV Agusta. I think it's pretty clear to see who precisely has the best bike right now, and as you can probably tell, that person is, of course, me. But anyway, 2 races down, and we still have 3 races to go. I have no doubt in saying these are going to be some pretty easy ones, but here we go. Time for race 3. 5 laps around the Twin Ring Motegi road course. And it looks like this will probably be another easy win, the way I see it. But either way, here we go. I probably braked way too early for that corner. But either way, it doesn't matter because I am very much on a domination spree. And it's fair to say, at this point, I will more or less be putting on what will most likely be another clinical performance. Because that's pretty much what I have been doing up to this point. So down the back stretch and heading up to this final section of corners. Basically they're left-handers followed by a right-hander, and I almost pulled up on the bike there, but able to keep my foot in the door. And now the gap to the leader is just 6 seconds. And so we will continue. Because I am good at doing that. So just letting go of the throttle for a moment there, and getting back on it again, and using a lot more speed into the corner now compared to before. And now clearing the Suzuki, and just lifting off so I can get through the corner. The Suzuki is still right behind me, but I don't think he's going to be too much of an issue for me here. And the gap is now 3 seconds to the Honda in front. So I'm pretty sure I'm either going to catch him the next lap, or certainly on the 4th lap, judging by where my overall pace is positioned at the moment. Because as I said before, I am very much putting on a clinical performance. Keeping my bike in 3rd gear, just getting on the curb a little bit there, but able to keep my car on the racing line this time. And I set a sub 2 minute time. And it looks like it's either going to be this corner where I catch him, or it's going to be on the very next straightaway in front of us. And now it isn't the straightaway anymore. Because I went off into... oh, fuck me. Okay, I am going to put my blame on the Suzuki for that one. I mean, he clearly bumped me. Even though I only just got back up on the bike, he definitely bumped me there. There was no disputing that. Yeah. I figured it was necessary for me to just do that because, well, it was obvious to say that he did push me straight into an accident, and I figured, well, giving him at least a bump back, I figured that was more or less a warranted move for me to do. Not anything egregious, but I just figured it was worth it for me to at least show that that move he pulled on me was not appreciated, and I almost got a wheel hop on the rear tyre. I was pretty sure I had a wheel hop, as in the rear brake basically just locked up right when I was going through the corner, and then right there and then I just managed to save it right before I had what was probably looking like a 3rd straight pull-up on the bike, which is not what I would have wanted. I was not wanting to pull up on the throttle percentage, but it doesn't matter because that time around I saved it. And since I am with a bit more firing space now, I can manage to set off after the Honda now, and either make my move on this lap or certainly on the last lap, since I know that is what will most likely happen. So, up to this hairpin turn again, and this time we are now on the back stretch, also known as the front stretch for the East Circuit. And it's also hard to believe that, in this game at least, we do not race on the west course of Motegi. In this game, we race on the full course, and we also race on the fucking east course, but we don't race on the west course. In other words, the short track course, if you will. And this time around, I've got all the room in the world, and looks like I will pretty much take over the lead from here, unless I wreck again, but I'm pretty sure this time I'm not going to do that. I do stay up on the bike. I also stay in control of my throttle percentage, and doesn't look like anyone is going to pick me off this time. Or bump me off, in my case. And as long as I don't have another accident, this one should pretty much be mine. So heading through the left-hander, and now up to what is the final hairpin turn on this course, for which I believe there is 3 of those. And now we go down the backstretch. Gap is now 3.3 seconds, and it seems as though at this stage we are very much going to be scoring another easy win. And is it going to be a new best lap time as well? Not quite. But for most of that race, I set sub 2 minute times. And 4.3 seconds was the margin of victory in the end over the Honda, and the Suzuki finished just 7 3/4 seconds behind me, whereas the MV Agusta, well, he is very much the field filler, unfortunately. But either way, we've now done 3 out of 4 races. Basically, I just need to more or less finish the next race, and then after that, we should pretty much be the champions of this. So, yeah. Anyway, on now to Suzuka. Just gonna get on with it straight away because, well, I am doing this under a time limit, and also because, well, I have to be somewhere pretty soon. And yep, the rear tyre just locked up. I basically gave it way too much throttle heading into turn 1. And basically, as a result of me giving it too much throttle percentage, too much throttle input into the corner, the rear tyre as a result locked up, and, well, the rest of it was just oblivion. I'm hopeful in saying I will not make the same mistake again. But, as ever, we will wait and see. Oh, please not again. Okay. I do manage to hold on to it through Dagna 1 and Dagna 2, and now heading up the straightaway here into the spoon hairpin, or at least I call it the spoon hairpin. And now we've got this chicane to negotiate as well, because while on bikes we do not take the full turning radius. And that's now the second wreck I have had of this race so far. So it's fair to say things are not going very well at Suzuka at the moment. And I do manage to survive the spoon curve, and now we head up the spoon straight, and going well over 180 as I head into 130R, and I almost fall off the bike again, but I just hold on to it that time. And now heading into the chicanes, or the chicane I should say, and I just hold on. I really thought for sure I was going to lose it entirely, but I did manage to hold on to the bike this time around, unlike my two failed attempts to hold on to it. But this time, I'm convinced in saying I will hopefully not crash too many times. And then you will probably watch me crash for about the next 3 or 4 laps, depending on your preference. Because usually, if I say I'm not going to crash, I do wind up crashing. And I once again run wide through Dunlop, but able to get it corrected for Dagna, and yep, I have given myself the commentator's curse. And 7.6 seconds is the interval to the Suzuki in front. I should really give myself some water once I'm done with this. So heading through, oh for fuck's sake. How did that even happen? I have no idea why the rear tyre just locked up there. I have no idea how that happened, but it just decided to happen anyway. I wasn't even going particularly fast for that corner compared to the speeds I go with some of these corners. So in all honesty, I think that's really queerish as to why that just happened. In other words, it was very strange. Okay, I take the blame for that one. I was clearly way too deep to make it through the chicane on that occasion, and that was what caused me to wreck. I will put my hands up and admit that one was clearly my fault. And my throat is drying up again, so... Oh, come on. Can I please just stay on the fucking track and not keep wrecking myself every 20 seconds or so? It would be really nice if I could stop doing that now and just actually get on with racing. And this time downshifting so I don't run wide through Dunlop, and heading through Dagna 1 and now into Dagna 2, and closing in on the Honda up ahead of me pretty much got all the room in the world, and I really thought for sure I was going to go off track there, but I did manage to successfully get through the corner and had another rear lock-up from that rear tyre, but this time around I do manage to successfully hold on to the spot, and luckily I live to fight another day. I do not pull up on the bike again through that chicane like I did last time. And so far so good. Take a little bit of speed there off through 130R, and now we head up the straight into the chicanes, and somehow I almost held on to the bike. It's like I'm literally just giving myself the commentator's curse at this point, because I've now crashed for basically all 3 laps. And I really do wonder if the only way for me to realistically stop crashing is by switching my riding style from aggressive and fast to slow and conservative. I almost wonder if that might be what I should do. But either way, it doesn't matter because, well, since rubber banding for a lot of these championship events is relatively weak, I don't think I'm really going to have too many problems in terms of actually getting the results where they count. And once again, because a lot of these races are very easy to win, I would honestly say we're actually doing really good at the moment. So, through the spoon hairpin once again, and now we head up to the chicane, through the radius turn, or I like to call it the radius turn, and under the Suzuka Circuit signpost, I think is what that was, and heading through Spoon Corner, through to the exit, and now onto the Spoon Straight. And again, scrubbing off a fair share of speed so I can successfully stay up on my 2 wheels this time. Almost went down again, but this time I finally managed to hold myself up on the bike, and now I have a lead by 5 seconds flat, and I reckon that's probably going to increase by at least 9, maybe 10 seconds by the end of the lap, if I can stay up on my high horse this time. Because I know that's going to be important in order for me to seal the deal. Anyway. Oh, fuck me. Yep, I knew that was going to happen. I was just waiting to see how long it was before I ran wide through the exit of Dunlop, and then right there, I basically went down. I'm going to assume that corner must be named after Joey Dunlop. I think. I could be wrong, but I think that corner probably is named after Joey Dunlop, most likely, the motorcycle racing legend. Either that or it's just named after the Dunlop tyre manufacturer. But anyway, so we are through Spoon Corner once again, and it looks like this is going to be another easy win from what I can see. I am pretty much putting a clinic on my opponents as I head into 130R, running a little bit wide there but able to stay on top of it, and the rear tyre has locked up again. Okay, please don't wreck me again. Can I please stop wrecking myself? Well, I should be clear. Anyway, P1 baby! And I wreck myself again. That was a bit too messy in my opinion. I probably wrecked one too many times in the end of that event. I basically just lost control of everything I had in the end. In spite of my best of efforts to lose this race, I still managed, in very ugly fashion, to pull it off. I'm also going to take a sip of water, so I'll be right back. Anyway, those are your points. Yeah, in all honesty, I don't want to talk about this race. This race was a bit too ugly for my taste, because of how many times I wrecked in the end. I probably wrecked one too many times in the end of that. And do I have any recent replays saved at Suzuka? Or at least on the Suzuka circuit? And nope, doesn't look like it. Okay, I'm gonna save this one. Because I can. Yeah, I really don't want to talk about the end of that race. It was a bit too ugly, in my opinion. Even though I clearly had the fastest bike, the last lap was very clearly my worst lap. So, I think it's better for me to just move on now to the final race, which takes place at Circuit de la Comunitat Valenciana Ricardo Tormo, also known as Valencia. Championship is pretty much locked up. Positions during each of these races, I honestly doubt it's going to change. Because, well, the AI pretty much finish in the positions they start in. That's just the way it works in this game, and looks like this one is going to be yet another easy win for me, from what I can see. In other words, I will pretty much run away with the win here, once I take the lead. Unless I suddenly decide to quite literally lose all of my tactics regarding the whatever skills I have. In other words, unless I quite literally put my brain into a blender and then basically just forget how to ride the bike properly. I don't really think I'm going to lose this. Oh, fuck my ass. I swear to God, this thing feels like it's very tail happy. Because the rear tyre just keeps locking up for whatever reason. And basically, every time I get that wheel hop, the bike just decides it does not want me to ride it anymore. In other words, it's very much like I'm taming a wild horse here when it comes to that rear tyre, because of just how easy it is to lock up the rear tyre and then to basically just send yourself into oblivion. I feel like that's what I've been doing up to this point, and I think the reason for that is because I might be using just a little bit too much brake percent. I think it might be because I'm not using enough brake bias in the rear, and that's probably the main reason why it just keeps locking up the way it does. But either way, I don't think it should really matter too much to me. And I gotta say, the AI looks like it has pace here, because I am not catching up to them as quickly as I have been doing. So gap is 6.7 seconds to the Honda. Might also be because, well, after pretty much all the mistakes I had in the previous race, this might be where the win streak ends. But again, you have to remember this is still my first week back, and I kind of cut the curb there just a little bit, but I think I still kept it within boundaries of where I was supposed to be. And almost locked up the rear tyre again, but this time around I managed to pretty much pull the bike through the corner, and now the gap is 7.5 seconds. So heading through turn 1, now up to turn 2, and at this time at least, I might actually have a challenge here, because it definitely feels like the AI has picked up the pace here. Plus we're already on the 3rd lap as well, so this could be a bit more challenging for me to get the win, but either way, it's okay, because I pretty much got the championship clinched a race early anyway, so no matter what happens here, I'm pretty much the champion-elect for the Superbike 1000. Plus, the odds of me losing this championship are basically impossible, because I have more than a big enough gap to quite literally say that no one is officially going to touch the trophy but me. And that is just how pretty much dominant I have been for more or less the entirety of this championship. And heading into turn 1 once again, and don't want to overshoot. I almost overshot the corner there because I went into the sand, but able to at least get back on the track right before the thing pulled me up, and I'm just so close to flirting with disaster right now that it's honestly a miracle to think that I'm actually still riding at this stage without falling off. But gap is now 1.7 seconds, so as long as I don't have any more accidents, I should hopefully be home 3. I should hopefully be able to walk away from this championship stone free. And 1.5 seconds is the gap. and almost overshot the corner there, but able to at least keep myself in contention. I'm steadily closing in on the Honda. Looks like the last lap probably is going to be a pretty crazy lap from what I can see. I'm now less than half a second behind, and I'm in the slipstream, and I've overshot the corner. I knew I was going too fast. But no matter, because I can always win this race another day. Again, I've said this numerous times before, and I will say it again, but this is still my first time in quite literally weeks since I last played this game, so the mistakes I've made up to this point, well, they're really not too surprising. In terms of the time of when I am recording this. 1.7 seconds is the gap. I don't think I'm going to catch him anymore. I've made one too many mistakes in this race. I got lucky at Laguna Seca. I don't think I'm going to get lucky twice. The main reason I have won the first 4 races is because I pretty much dominated them in terms of my pace. And I'm around the outside and just going to give him the space he needs. This is pretty much a battle I've lost. I don't think I'm going to catch him. You know what, I'm just going to concede the win here. I'm not going to fight him for it. I probably didn't deserve to win that race anyway. I just made one too many mistakes, in all honesty. And also because, well, this bike did not like me on that rear tyre, because I basically wrecked myself enough times to say that I probably was not the deserving winner in the end. But that's okay, because I still win the championship by 12 points. So the Honda CBR 1000 in second, the Suzuki GSXR 1000 in third, and the MV Augusta in the end was fourth. I already have a replay saved, but as you might have guessed, I have to do the last race again. But anyway, that's your finishing order for the Superbike 1000. 4 out of 5 wins in the end, not too surprising. But altogether, I was not expecting myself to get 4 out of 5 wins. So, first and foremost, another helmet. Not really much. And for winning the championship, we get the Suzuki GSXR Suzuka 8-hour exclusive. Or more specifically, the Yoshimura Suzuki Jomo with Yoshimura Suzuki Jomo with Srixon Watanabe Suzuka 8-hour. And of course we also get the riding gear as well. And as you might have guessed, we also get the option to put on the number 1. Not going to do that because, well, we're past the halfway point of the game now, so I'll leave it as it is. And now I just have to do this race again. Okay, time to switch bikes, and I will be right back. Alrighty, we have officially got the Valencia win now. And what that means is we are going to head out of the race events and get on with showcasing the prize bike that we won. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to finish it at my originally planned time because, well, I had to be somewhere. But I'm here now. It's probably a few hours later, and now I feel like this is probably the best time for me to showcase the bike that we won. And that's this, the Yoshimura Suzuki Jomo. I hope I said that right. With Srixon GSXR 1000 Suzuka A-Tower. And the number we get here is the number 12. I gotta say, this thing actually looks pretty cool altogether. But either way, there we go. So that is the bike that we win. And now let's go and check our progress. And we are now 77.1% complete. So from winning all 5 of those races, well, 4 out of 5 initially, with me correcting the silver from the last race and turning that into a gold, we gained a total of 3.2%. And we've also gained our 4th Suzuka A-Tower exclusive bike. And now we just have 1 to go. And I have a feeling we'll be getting that one pretty soon. However, our next 2 events will be single race events. So once we are done with those 2, we can then move on to our next championship. But before then, I will need to figure out what bike to use. Anyways, next time on Tourist Trophy, I think it's Master of Eagles. Anyway, stay tuned for the next episode.